Hindu weddings are elaborate ceremonies full of tradition and symbolic significance. A traditional Hindu wedding is often a week in length, and usually start with pre-wedding ceremonies. In northern India, these include a haldi, which is ritual holy baths which use turmeric. This oil and water combination is applied to both bride and groom. There is a mehadini ceremony where the bride's hands and feet are covered in intricate designs of henna. It is said that the deeper the color of the mehadini, the stronger the groom's love for the bride. Also, once the wedding is over, the wife is not expected to perform household duties until the mehadini has faded away. There is also sangeet, which means music, where the bride's family hosts an evening of music and entertainment to meet and get to know the groom's family. It is also typical for families to offer food, predominantly sweets, before the official wedding ceremony begins.
Wedding ceremonies differ in northern and southern India, with majority of the food in the south being vegetarian. In the north, many types of meat dishes are served, such as butter chicken and lamb curry. Meat eating was more common among the higher castes, and they encouraged the lower castes to be vegetarians so that they could have all the good meat for themselves, although today, many Indians do not eat meat in their diets. The actual Hindu wedding is very elaborate and normally very expensive. The amount and quality of food served at the wedding meals becomes symbolic of prestige and respect for the families, and many of the guests compare the food served at different weddings. The banquet, rather than the ceremony, is the focal point of the wedding. The wedding feast is paid for by the bride's family and prepared by professional caterers with their own equipment and ingredients. Traditionally, food was served on banana leaves, and the caterers would walk up and down the aisles of the banquet hall, carrying pots of food to ladle to the guests that were sitting on cushions on the ground. Ghee was often poured to symbolize richness and auspiciousness. Alcohol was rarely served at weddings. Today, tables and chairs are more common, and there is normally an elaborate buffet with many different types of food and cocktails. Food is a very important aspect of the Hindu weddings. The arrangement of wedding day food is done by the bride's parents. It used to be prepared by skilled cooks, but now it is normally catered. Wolfgang Puck even has a traditional northern Indian wedding buffet menu available for catering. Wedding food in northern India is very expensive, filled with an array of food. It is heavily a mughali spread, which means lots of paneer, creamy curries, tandoori meat, and buttery naans, all of the most decadent foods that you could eat. Coastal Indian weddings also include crab or fish curries as well. Halva is a must-have at every wedding, which is a dense, sweet treat made from tahini. There are all types of halva, but mung is the favorite since it is the most expensive, and Indian weddings are a time to show off wealth, but carrot and almond are also popular flavors. Also served are barfis, which is a dense, milk-based sweet, laddus, kheer, gulab-jamun, rasamali, and jalebi. Many modern weddings also have a large tiered cake. According to ancient Hindu dietary theory, every meal is supposed to include all 6 tastes in the following order: sweet, sour, salty, pungent, bitter, and astringent. Today, the only time that people experience a meal in which all these tastes are present is during a formal Indian wedding ceremony. When a Hindu wedding occurs in the U.S., the food tends to be Northern Indian, meaning you'll see a spread of naan, a traditional flatbread, with different curries, samosas, which are savory pastries with spiced meats or vegetables, and a dessert display, which typically includes cake, kulfi, a type of Indian ice cream, and decorated sweets made from nuts.
In Hindu weddings, food has much symbolic meaning and is used for more than just consuming. Rice throwing is an essential part of wedding ceremonies and is meant to symbolize sustenance. In southern India, rice mixed with turmeric is poured over the heads of the bride and groom. After the wedding is complete and the bride first steps into the groom's home to become part of the family, she kicks over a kalash, which is a metal pot, of rice with her right leg before she and her husband both pass the arti and step into the house simultaneously with their right leg first. The coconut also has important meaning in Hindu tradition and symbolizes prosperity. After the bride and groom first see one another, a coconut is placed in the bride's hands, and then she and her father offer the fruit to the bride's new husband as a divine offering to ensure the marriage is blessed. After this, a paste of cumin seeds and brown sugar are crushed together and placed in a betel leaf. Then, As the priest recites Vedic mantras, the bride and groom, in turn, place the leaves on each other's heads. The mixture represents the bitterness and sweetness of life. Hindu weddings are both elaborate and full of tradition. They are a time of celebration, and throughout time, food has been an integral part of both bringing people together and celebrating the milestones of loved ones.